Welcome to Becoming Her.
Your new space for confidence, growth, and real conversations.
So today we're going to be talking about protecting your energy in 2026.
Yes, we want to kind of discuss about how other people's toxic vibrations can have a negative impact on your own and on your own mood, and how to be more intentional about who you let into your life during this year, because we think it's a very important topic for discussion.
I don't think people talk enough about how people's toxic energy really has a big impact on you, on your mood.
Yeah, we've had this discussion before about how other people's way of thinking and acting and their vibrations essentially affects you, and not just in the sense of it affects you like it puts you in a mood, but more of like it just brings you down. It's draining when other people are constantly negative, and we think it's so good to discuss that because sometimes you don't even realise it's happening.
Yeah, you can literally walk into a room and feel really good about yourself, and you're excited for the night. If you're going on a night out, for example, you're going to catch up with your friends, and you can leave feeling so down and drained, and it's something that I don't think you realise a lot.
Yeah, you don't realise it's happening. It's not, it's like you say, any situation. You could even just be chatting to someone and then afterwards be really drained just because you've had a conversation with someone whose vibe was just completely negative. Yeah, so for example, I always refer back to being a student and being on placement because it was 4 years of my life, but it's basically a work environment. But I was on a unit once, and all of the staff there were always so down and negative every time I was on shift, and every time I finished I just felt so drained, and I hated being on there. I actually genuinely did hate working there. Not only was I a student anyway, so I was below in the key chain or whatever it's called, but yeah, I just felt drained every time. And it wasn't until all of us got together as students and spoke about our experiences that we had on there that we realised that the reason we were all so down all the time was because of the toxic environment on there. It was like a culture. One person was depressed, so everyone else went like that.
Yeah.
They weren't just depressed, everyone was snappy and moody, and I would watch people start on there as newly qualified, and by the end of my placement they were all the same as the other nurses on there because they all just kind of fed off each other's bad vibes and bad energy.
Yeah, when you're there every single day as well, and you're there, 4 hours a day, was it?
12 hours a day.
Oh my god, 12
yeah.
hours. Well, that's even worse.
12 hours a day.
I think it's a big one. Your workplace, for being around toxic energy, it's a bad one. That's why you've got to be really aware of it, I think, and aware of if someone's being really negative about everything and everything's a problem and they're not trying to find solutions, they just want to have a moan about things. You've got to really be aware of that and just remove yourself if you can from the situation, or I don't know, maybe call them out, or
Yeah, it is hard though, like what situations you're in, because as a student I couldn't therefore call people out in that situation. It was a case of I would have to go to the next person in charge, and then so on and so on. It's one of those things that unless you do something about it, it's never going to change. It's going to be a repeating cycle. If you allow energy to stick that way, it's just going to keep going. Yeah, so negative patterns normalise when you sit in them too long.
I like that. And there's that other phrase of you are who you surround yourself with, but I think it kind of works both ways. If you're around someone that has low vibrations and toxic vibrations, the negative, and they're constantly like that, yeah, that can bring you down. If you've got that mindset where you don't let things like that affect your mood, that's like really good. And if you're constantly on a high vibration, you're like, well, you try to be positive around those people, then sometimes it can work the other way, and they can then become more positive because they're looking at you and thinking, oh, they probably start realising I don't want to be a miserable bugger. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be more positive.
It is hard because there is some people that'll steal your vibrations, but then at the same time there's a lot of people that you can try and you're just going to keep draining yourself.
Yeah, you can't get through to everyone. Some people are stuck in the ways.
It's definitely the subject we want to hit on. Is you don't want to be going into this new year allowing other people's energy to affect yours, because then you're just going to always be putting yourself in the position where you're not enjoying yourself or you're always drained.
Yeah.
When actually you could have the best day possible up until you talk to someone negative. So you don't want that. You want it to carry on being good. So this is where it's kind of up to you what you're allowing.
Yeah. what you're protecting. I think I'm really fortunate that I don't have a lot of negative people around me, but I feel like that's throughout the years who I've allowed into my life.
I was about to say, you've probably definitely done that yourself. I do feel like some people do get lucky, but if you are surrounded by people that are really have a good mindset, I feel like you do it yourself.
And you attract more people like that into your life the more you are like that as well. Like when you're focusing on yourself and you're achieving things and all you want to do is be better, then the people that are in your life that aren't wanting to do the same thing and they just want to complain about things that they can control, I feel like you do end up distancing yourself in a way, don't you? And you don't want to be around people like that, because if you want to be better, you need to be around people that also want the same thing.
It's like being around these people that just constantly complain all the time. They're just bitter about everything, they're negative about everything. It's so draining, and there's only so much you can do to help them. It's like they've always got this negative thing on. Everything's just so has to be negative, and it's like they thrive off it. And if something's not negative isn't going on in their life, it makes them worse.
Yeah.
Like, why do people always have to have
Be
something going on? Yeah, it's victim mentality.
Yeah.
Why do people always have to have something going on? And if they don't have something bad going on, they look for something else bad to continue. And they're the people that you don't want to surround yourself with. It's like they constantly need to be in a constant stream of chaos.
Yeah.
And you just do not need that around you.
No. I think people struggle to take accountability for the situations that they put themselves in life as well. Like they don't want a solution. They just want everyone to feel sorry for them.
And you can give them a million solutions to fix that one problem or the 20 problems they've got, and then they just don't listen.
No,
they
just carry on.
Flip it round, and that to us is draining. As you as a person that is constantly trying to give your energy to something that's never going to work.
Yeah, that's when you need to realise like you can't carry on like that, and you don't need to cut them off completely, but you can like sort of, if you've advised someone that you're around that's always negative and you're trying to be positive, and you've gave them advice, you've told them what you think they should do, you've tried to include them in things, and they still don't want to listen, and they're still having the same issues, they still keep bringing up the same negative things. You've got to find that sort of line where you've just got to be like, I can't keep doing this anymore, because it's your time is like valuable as well. And if you're around them, what are you around them for if you don't feel good at the end of it? Yeah,
and it's emotionally draining. Like you're trying your hardest every day to make these people feel better, because you're like, oh my God, they feel so bad, and you feel bad for them. So you try and help them, and then you feel guilty because you're like, well, I've tried to help you and it's not working, so what can I do now? And it just ends up in a vicious cycle, and it's up to you to like stop that cycle.
You've got to be selfish, haven't you, in that respect?
I feel like it is draining to just carry on trying to help someone that won't help themselves. But yeah, as well, like, you don't just feel guilty, but you feel sorry for them, because it gets to the point where you're at the point now where you're like, well, I don't want to be around you anymore if you're just constantly going to be like that. I've tried all I can. Then you start thinking, oh, well, trying to pull myself away a bit, and then that mixes in with guilt and feeling sorry. But then you need to understand that protecting your energy, it's not a bad thing, and it's not you thinking that you're better than other people, because in my head I think, well, if I start saying to them, I don't want to do that with you, or I don't want to do this, they're going to think, who does she think she is? Not wanting to do stuff with me. Like, who does she think she is?
Yeah. But then it's like, they're going to think like that, aren't they?
Well, yeah.
And it doesn't matter what they think, because they're not the people. Yeah, they're not your people. They're
well,
not
no,
who
exactly.
You want to be
That's what I'm
around.
trying to get at. Like, this is you protecting your energy. It's not you thinking you're any better than them, even if they think that.
So whatever they think, if you cut them off, like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, because you can still be compassionate with them. Like, they're giving off such bad vibes and you're trying all the time to make them feel better, but you don't need to waste your energy. Like, don't keep doing it. You can be compassionate without
villainising them.
Yeah, and without self-abandonment. Like, don't abandon your self-worth because you're trying to make them feel better. You can be compassionate and be like, I totally understand what you're going through, but if you're at the point where you can't justify trying to twist their energy anymore, it's just going to have to get to the point where you're like, right, I need to take a step back to think about myself. But I do understand what you're going through, and I am here for you.
Yeah, it's important to be like that as well. You don't want to obviously upset anyone in the process because they obviously might be going through some stuff, and you've got to kind of be careful, I think, in a way at the same time. And you don't want to leave things on bad terms because then that's also creating a bit of a bad energy, because it's like you're creating I don't know, like an awkward situation that's always going to be on your mind. But if you say it like that, they've got to understand where you're coming from at the same time.
Yeah, and you will get those people as well that don't understand, and if you say to them, look, I just need a bit of space, or I can't deal with this right now, they will flip it so quick and be like, well, oh my God, you don't care about me, you're not a very good friend, all of that kind of stuff. Or if it's at work, they might get a bit funny with you, and then you've got to deal with that. But I think you've just kind of got to understand that that's their way of thinking, and not everyone is on the same alignment as you. Not everyone has the same vibrations. Other people are just on completely different frequencies, and sometimes you just have to accept that, shut up about it and just carry on. Because
I think you can easily accept that as well, because when you know that they're a negative person and the way they think isn't the way you think, then however they react when you do decide to cut them off or distance yourself, you'll be fine with it because you've actually done something for you, and that's like really good.
And if you're anything like we are as well, you'll have tried your best to try and make them feel better.
Even if it's a close friend, someone that you've been friends with for years, if it's a family member, I think a lot of people think because it's your family, it's your blood, you feel like you owe them more, but you don't, and it's okay if you don't feel good when you're around those people. It's your life, and it's up to you who you want to surround yourself with, and you can still love someone and care for them and always be there for them if they need you, but then you can also not put yourself around them that often.
Yeah,
if
like
they drain
limit
your
their
energy.
access to you.
Limit their access to you.
Yeah, it's a big thing. A lot of people have different family dynamics, and I know some people have amazing families that are absolutely great, but some people have families that they just don't get along very well, and every time you're around them, they can just bring you down. Anyone can do it. Your family can do it. Your friends can do it. You work, like, even in relationships as well. But it's like, just because they're your family, you don't owe them anything. You've got to respect yourself and respect your own boundaries as well. And it's like you say, you don't have to cut them off completely. It's like you said, you just have to just understand that you just sometimes have to give yourself a little break from them and just limit their access to you maybe a little bit, because at the end of the day you're protecting your own peace. You don't have to give up so much of yourself to try and make someone else happy, because it's your life.
Exactly. Yeah, peace that costs you yourself isn't peace at all.
No.
Like, you can be around someone and just not say to them how you truly feel to keep them happy, and you can just be silent and just listen to them mourn or be negative, and you just think to yourself, I just won't say anything, because then if I say something it'll cause an argument or whatever. But that is not peace.
No.
That is you, like,
Sometimes
that is
it
affecting
can,
your mood and your
sometimes
whole...
I don't know if you're on about that, but I know that what you've just said, like being able to just keep quiet and just accept what they're saying, to me, I've noticed in the past with certain situations, I used to talk too much, and I would, like, if they was telling me stuff, I would try and touch on the subjects they're saying, but I found after a long while that actually if you just listen to what they're saying, even if you don't agree or whatever, or you know that if you do agree, it's going to give them more of ammunition to carry on with this negative energy.
Yeah.
I found over the years just sitting there and just going, yeah, okay, and listening, they still feel heard and they don't feel pushed aside, but then also you're not forcing them into saying more about whatever it is they're going on about, because it's just going to stop it, isn't it? It'll allow them to de-stress and get whatever they need out, but then you're also protecting yourself, because you're like, right, okay, I totally understand, that's fine, and then that'd be that. But it's not all just about, like...
Depends what they're saying, isn't it? It depends if you do think that's fine what they're saying.
Well, yeah, it depends what they say. You wouldn't just say that's fine if it was something you think, bloody hell, that I don't like that.
Yeah, I think it's important for them, because they've probably already got other people in their lives that are sort of, what's the word, validating what they're saying?
Yeah.
It's validating the word. and sort of agreeing and sort of entertaining it in a way. So it's good for them to have other friends that will call them out. I think eventually
Yeah.
they will realise that it's tough love and it's come from a place of love. And it might even help them in the end. You never know. But
Yeah.
I think
You
it's
can
important to
yeah.
stay true to what you think and your morals and values. And
Yeah.
if you think that what they're saying isn't right, tell them that. But you can say it in a way that's
Yeah.
also not aggressive.
Yeah, and it's also remembering though you can only say it so many times before you
Yeah.
need to stop.
Yeah.
I think sometimes as well, if you get to that point where you think, right, okay, they are going on and on about all this stuff I don't agree with, but you know they're still a good person at heart, that's why you've had them in your life this whole time, or even if it is someone, I don't know, whichever situation you're in, I just think if you are going to get to the point where you think I've outgrew you now and I don't agree with your morals, you don't align with me, and then you need to think, right, I need to start pulling away a bit, you can do that in a way that's, like you said before, it doesn't villainise them.
No.
You don't want to be on bad terms. You don't want to push someone out your life and do it in the sense of thinking, well, I did that because they're an awful person and they had all these morals and ideas that I didn't agree with. You're allowed to just push someone out of your life because they just don't align with you anymore. It doesn't have to be because of a dreaded awful reason. It can literally just simply because they don't align with you anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like in your friends and friend groups. Some people, like, you could be friends with someone for years and years and years, and then as you get older, your own values and things change, and then it gets to the point where you're still friends with this person because they've been around you all your life, or it's your family member, it could be anyone, and you're so comfortable around them, but actually if they don't align with you anymore, then that's fine. Like, you need to start thinking, are they aligning with your growth? Or are they still in your life just for comfort?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really important to notice when
Yeah.
you're like, right, she's still stuck in her ways or he's still stuck in his ways. I'm growing and I want to continue to grow. And sometimes you just know if they're gonna like match your sort of vibration or not.
Yeah, it's hard because sometimes it's really hard to make that decision because you're like, oh well, we've been in each other's lives for all this time and now I just don't want them to be in my life anymore, or I don't want to
I
be
think
around
it's
this
hard,
person.
isn't it? It's
It is
hard.
really hard because it's like you feel bad, but you can tell when someone's not aligning with you anymore.
Yeah.
Especially at this age when you're getting on now and you're not young anymore and everyone's going down different paths and have different beliefs, and it's like it could be for any reason though, couldn't it? It's not just about like if they're always talking shit or they're always going on about something negative. People's moods and things and the way that they act and stuff
If
like
you feel
that.
like you're like walking on eggshells and stuff, or you feel like you can't say what you want to say in case you upset them, and it's like people like that you don't want to be around.
No, so that's when you really need to start thinking about the circle of people that you've got in your life and just think, is this who I want to have around me?
Yeah, I feel like over the past maybe year or two, I've definitely realised with the experiences that I've went through, like I used to be not necessarily a people pleaser, but I definitely didn't speak up when I maybe wanted to or should have done because I didn't want to maybe upset someone. But I feel like now I'm very much in a position where I'll say what I think and I don't care. Like if I know that my values and the way I think is right, then I'm not scared about speaking up. If someone pisses me off, or if someone says something that is upset me, or if someone says something that I don't agree with, I'm not scared anymore to just say what I think, because at the end of the day, the more if you're gonna keep saying stuff like that you agree with to someone, if they don't like that, then that's not your person anyway. So in a way, the more you're true to yourself, the more you stay true to yourself, the more the people that aren't supposed to be in your life will go away, and the people that are supposed to be in your life will come to you, and then they'll be your people because you're being who you are, and you can just be who you are the whole time. You don't
It's like
have
a perception thing, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
if you're acting a certain way because of the way other people are, you're going to be perceived as being like that. But actually, if you act how you actually are as a person, then you'll bring in people that align with you. But if you're underacting, should you say, because of the other people around you, like, it's a confidence thing, isn't it? Like, if they're making you feel belittled, but you continue to let them do that, and then you act like that and keep acting like that,
knowing that that's not what
you're gonna bring those people in. Whereas if you act as who you are and who you want to be, and put that vibration out there, it's gonna draw people in that align with you.
Exactly.
And then it's not just about, like you were obviously saying about how you say to people how you're feeling, and if something doesn't agree with you, but it's also it works in as well. For example, I'm really bad for I'm really perceptive, so like if someone's vibe's off or they're in a mood, and I'll always think, oh my god, are they angry with me, or are they in a mood? Like, I'm really good now where if someone's vibe feels off, I'm really good at asking and being like, is everything okay, or can I just clarify this? Because at the end of the day, if you don't, you're just going to sit feeling really sad
and overthink
it all, because you'll be like, what are they thinking right now?
What have I done?
All you have to do is ask. Like, we've done it before.
And it's so easy.
Exactly. Like,
and sometimes they want you to ask. Sometimes they might be wanting you to ask them because they might not feel like they want to...
I'm really bad for it. I'm really bad for pushing out a bad vibration because of my body posture and my body language, and my where I look and stuff like that, and my eye contact. Actually, there's nothing wrong with what I'm feeling about the person I'm with. There's just probably something going on with me, and all it takes is someone to just go, "Are you all right? Because you're looking a bit off." But actually, it's just because I'm probably thinking about something so much that my vibration, it's actually quite good when you think about it, because some people's vibrations probably come off of their body posture and the way they act and the way they talk. Mine probably does, because a lot of people will say to me, you just looked in a proper mood. But actually, I must be really bad at processing like the way my moods through body language and stuff.
Yeah,
whereas I'm really good at sensing people's moods, whether they've got the body language or not, because I'm so perceptive. But it's good to be able to just sit back a second and say, well, actually, I'm going to ask, and I'm going to say, are you okay, or are you all right doing whatever we're doing, or whatever, because actually then you're clarifying that. And if they're not okay with it, then at least you bloody know.
Yeah.
But if they are and there's just something going on, maybe they're just tired or something, at least you know, and it kind of puts your mind at rest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something I'd recommend to others to do that. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Just asking if you feel someone's off, just say, is everything all right? Like, do you want to talk about anything? Like, because the more you let it linger, like you said, the more you just overthink things and think, have I said something to upset you, or what have I done? And it affects your day, your whole day.
And to be honest as well, touching on that subject, it's probably like, you know, when you do start outgrowing people, I feel like you do get the vibe before you outgrow someone, like whether it's you or them that's outgrowing the other person, you'll know if someone doesn't want to be around you anymore, because you know straight away, don't you?
You do.
It's like relationships. If you're in a relationship, you know if that person doesn't want to be with you anymore. It's just so easy to tell.
You get like a gut feeling, don't you?
But then is that gut feeling off the vibration? Are you getting the gut feeling because you can feel their aura's off? Can you just feel that? But then that also touches on, like, even if that's happened, it's okay to outgrow people. It really is. And sometimes you have to also remember, because even though we've talked about all of this and about how it's okay for you to push people back and say, right, I think I've had enough of you now, I don't want your vibe around me anymore, it's so off and it's affecting me, you need to remember that it's okay for this to flip. It's okay for someone else to say, I'm sorry, but I've outgrown you.
Yeah, definitely.
It doesn't have to be in a bad way. Maybe you're just absolutely living your life and they're not at that place right now, and they're like, right, well, hang on. You're off doing all of that, and actually that's affecting my vibe because I'm stuck in a position in my life where I'm not doing as good as you, and I think I just need to take a step back because it's making me a bit sad, and that's fine. Or maybe they are doing better than you, but that's okay as well.
It works both ways, doesn't it?
And that's fine. If someone else, you need to remember, it's like going back to the villainising thing. Don't hate them because they don't align with you anymore.
No.
I think sometimes you have to remember to accept that.
Definitely. There's been people that I've met that have had things to say about others as well. I'm not one for gossiping. I hate gossiping. I'm not. If you want to talk about people, I don't want to get involved. If you feel like one of your close friends is really doing well in life and you're not there yet, you should, instead of you should maybe distance yourself if you want to do that. Don't envy people that are doing well, because you should be inspired by it, and you should...
Yeah, we were having that conversation earlier, weren't we?
Yeah.
Like, you can start up a business and you can do whatever. You could be doing really well in life. Maybe you've just graduated, or you've done something, or you've got a really good job offer, and other people just can't be happy for you.
No, I know. I think a lot of people say as well, like, when you try and do things on social media and you're pushing yourself out there, your main supporters are people you don't know, aren't they? That's a big thing. Your friends don't even support you. Like, some of them do, but like
it just comes.
I think it's jealousy.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
It is. It's jealousy, and I just don't get it at all. Like, just be happy for
it. Does
whether
come
they're
from a place.
doing better than you. Be happy for them and be inspired by it, and start use that as motivation to want to be the same, do the same.
Yeah, I've definitely came across that a lot the past few years when it came to things like buying my own house and going on nice holidays, and I went self-employed, so a lot of people get jealous about the fact I work from home. And I found over the past few years, even from family and friends that I never thought I'd expect it from, things like, where do you get all the money from to do all of that? Or how are you doing that again? Like, you're not going on another holiday. People just can't be happy sometimes. Then it's like,
that goes back to as well, you don't need to over-explain anything.
Yeah, a lot of people say, like, you should level up in silence or whatever. Like, don't post your achievements. I agree with it and I don't agree with it, because at the end of the day, you've worked fucking hard for where you want to be, and you've worked hard to go on holiday, and you've worked hard to do this. Like, the process, maybe keep the process silent, because you don't want your failures plastered everywhere if something goes wrong.
I think it's good to post your failures
well,
as well.
It is and it isn't, but you also, I feel like you shouldn't have to stop yourself from posting all the nice things you do just to keep other people happy.
It's not like you're boasting either, is it? You're not. It's not like you're posting it to boast.
No.
You're posting it for memories for yourself to look back on, like, in years to come. Like, you can always look back at that when you have kids, and your kids can look back at it, and it's memories to sort of reminisce.
Yeah, but exactly.
But I do get as well, it's like that balance of, you don't want everyone to know your business.
It puts you down when people say to you, how are you doing that again? Or how have you managed that? Or where did you get your money from to do that? Because it makes...
don't owe them.
It made me feel like, well, should I be telling people when I book things or whatever? Because it's like, well... But no, it doesn't matter. Like, you've worked hard to be where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like going back to the oversharing thing as well. Like, it's not just oversharing about your achievements. It's more, if you feel like people are going to take your life experiences in general and use them against you or something. I found myself in the past really oversharing stuff I shouldn't have. Like, you know, when you say something and afterwards you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have told them that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you do just need to kind of remember and remind yourself not to say too much to people that aren't aligning with you.
Yeah.
Because you're giving them the ammunition then. You said earlier when we were discussing the podcast about being selective with your, like, emotional conversations. Just because someone's opening up to you doesn't mean you have to open up back. You don't have to justify things with your own experiences all the time. But then also you can flip that as well, because I also find that whenever someone's telling me something, I'm really bad for this, I don't know if anyone else will be like this, but someone's telling me a story or they're going through something, I'm really bad for being like, I understand because I've been through that, or, well, actually this happened to me. And that's not me being like, trying to one-up you, like, you've been to Tenerife, I've been to Tenerife. It's like, well, actually I'm trying to say that I understand. I don't really know what else to say to you to make you feel better, other than, well, I've been through this as well, so I actually understand, and I can give you a bit of advice from my perspective, but actually what you're going through, I've never been through that before, but I've been through similar, or maybe it's the same thing. And I think some people can take that the wrong way. So I think sometimes you do have to be careful with what you say.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think some people as well, when they overshare in situations when they feel like there's nothing else to talk about, or if they feel like they're stuck in an awkward silence with the friend or with someone that a recent friend or something, and they end up telling them loads of personal stuff about themselves just because like if they don't want any awkward silences or anything. I think people just need to learn that they can sit quietly, comfortably. Like silence is okay sometimes. You don't have to keep filling silence with personal oversharing thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. There's other ways as well you can kind of protect your energy. So it's like when we've touched on earlier, we were saying about distancing yourself from people. You don't have to fully distance yourself from people. It's like you were saying, you can just kind of limit access maybe a little bit. You don't have to completely get shot of them. You can just limit exposure rather than fully cutting them off, which I found over the past few years. I feel like it's easier to do as you get older, I think, because I feel like we talk about your frontal lobe in every episode, but I swear to God, it's a real thing. I feel like you hit that point at the age of about 25, 26, and just things don't bother you as much anymore. And if you've got someone or whatever, family, friends, work, whatever, that you genuinely are sick of their vibe, you don't want to get rid of them completely. You can just limit exposure. You don't have to completely cut them off.
Like you're in control of your own life. You're in control of who you're the one that's putting yourself in that situation.
Exactly.
So sort it out.
Exactly.
Like
it is hard.
It is hard, but at the same time, it's like it's not. If you're, it's hard to completely cut someone out of your life, but it's not hard to limit exposure to people. Like you can even if you just say that you're busy or.
But then what's harder, limiting exposure or trying constantly every day to change someone's view on something or someone's negative energy and bringing your own down at the same time?
Well, this is why you limit the exposure.
Exactly. This is what I mean. It's easier to just back off a bit and say, right, I don't want to do that, or I don't want to do this with you. Just you just go away. But and then there's ways as well when you're doing that. Like if you do feel like you have to limit your access, and then you have limited your access, but then say if you make plans with them or something, but being around someone is really draining, you need to think of ways after that you can kind of recharge yourself. So maybe that whole situation's been really draining for you, even if it's just a day out with someone and they've went on and on and on. You need a way to kind of de-escalate and de-stress afterwards, so you can do things like making sure that you give yourself enough space in between meets, or what else is it you were saying about like having a nice bath or a shower or something.
Yeah, like whether it's that after having a draining day with a person, or you've had a long day at work and it's been really stressful and you've been really around a lot of negative people. I think at the end of the day, sometimes it's nice to, like before you go to bed, have a shower and wash it all off. It sounds really spiritual, but it's like you're sort of washing away the day. Tomorrow's a new day. And I think that's, you kind of, you're relaxing and you're sort of starting again, and
it brings us back to like what we said at the very beginning, like we were saying, that sometimes you don't realise that other people's vibrations is the thing that's affecting you. So maybe as well it's just trying to recognise when it is other people's moods and energies and vibrations that's making you drained. Because sometimes you can pin it on yourself and be like, well, have I had a bad day because I've done this, this and this? But actually it's been the people you've been around. And you don't actually realise as well that you mirror, like we as human beings, we mirror everyone around us as
definitely.
well.
If you're around someone that's negative, you probably will find yourself being in that sort of frame of mind as well to match them.
Yeah, and so I think sometimes it's just
people get shocked as well sometimes as well, I think, don't they, when you mirror them back and they're like, you're matching their energy, and sometimes people are like someone could be really rude and like you're not a rude person, and you're a really nice person, but you decide one day, I'm going to mirror back your energy, and you start being rude back to them, and they're a bit like, that's rude. Or
maybe it's flipped then as well. Maybe it's not just you needing to realise when your bad energy is, but maybe they need to realise. So maybe
sometimes mirroring them, sometimes it makes, because
I mean, we're not saying start shouting at people because they're shouting at you, but
if they call you out after you've just mirrored their energy, then you can be like, you're the one, like, you're being rude to me, actually. So, and then sometimes that can open their eyes as well.
Yeah, but obviously mirroring other people's energy isn't the answer, because it's like you're then putting yourself in a negative place when you should be walking away from the situation.
I think sometimes if it
But I
gets,
get what you
gets
mean.
to a point, doesn't it,
Yeah,
where it's
like
like,
if you
actually, I'm gonna just to prove a point.
It's like proving that they are the issue.
Yeah, exactly, without actually saying it.
But yeah, like you say, I think you just need to realise when it is that other people's vibrations is the cause of you. Just listen to your body. Like at the end, if you've had a really good day and then you've seen someone or a group of people, and then afterwards your body's screaming at you like, oh my God, I'm so drained, I'm tired after that. Just listen to it. That's obviously going to be what the root cause of your current mood is.
I think we've had a really good discussion there. We've touched base on a lot of things, and
I definitely think we could talk for about a year about other people's bad vibes, other people's mindset. We could probably do a whole different episode about people's mindset. I mean,
you can go off on all sorts, can't you?
Yeah, the mindset is it does set off vibrations, but yeah, I do think that we've touched on really good points about protecting your energy, and we're kind of hoping that what you get from this kind of discussion is how to go into 2026 not allowing other people to bring you down.
Yeah, setting boundaries, and if you're not wanting to cut people out of your life that you know's draining your energy, just limit access, limit exposure.
Yeah.
After a long day at work or a long week, just remember it all comes back down to you at the end of the day.
And it's remembering, like, you don't owe everyone access. Like, you don't owe that.
And don't feel guilty. Yeah. Don't feel guilty about distancing yourself from people.
Yeah,
either.
You don't owe people that. And like as we're going into 2026, you need to remember that your future self depends on your present boundaries. Like, you need to set those boundaries with these
and
people.
You need to set them early on. Like, it's January. Like, set them now. And then by the end of the year, you never know what situation you'll be in. You'll have brought all kinds of people into your life that align with you, who you are, if you just stay true to yourself and you just keep your energy high, keep your vibrations high. And if anyone is around you that has toxic vibrations, please get rid of them.
Yeah.
Or distance yourself anyways.
Yeah, and you're going into 2026 probably with all these ideas about your goals and how you want to be more productive and all of this, but you have to remember that peace is productivity as well. Like, your peace is probably the ultimate foundation for how you're not going to be productive if you're in a mood. Like, you're just really not. Like, if you're at work and everyone around you's gave off negative vibrations all day and then you're in a mood, you're not going to be productive, especially if you're in a high intense job, such as, like, for example, you work in the bistro, so you're talking to people all day. If your vibe's off, all those customers are going to think, oh my God,
I'm not coming back.
Exactly. And then me as a nurse, if I'm in a mood, I've got people's lives on the line. It's you need to remember that everything starts with peace, I think, and like your mood and your mindset.
Yeah, definitely. I think don't get peace mixed up either with being silent.
Yeah.
To make someone else feel better about themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
peace isn't always silence.
It's not always silence, no. Sometimes you need to set the boundaries over peace. Say how you feel genuinely. If someone's not aligning with you, just say it straight. Then you can be peaceful. Then you can have a peaceful.
It's like choosing
life.
self-respect, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Like, don't be peaceful because of the fact that you've just kind of let things slide. You need to have self-respect, then find your peace afterwards.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's just remembering the main key point here is that protecting your energy isn't selfish. You're not being selfish.
Yeah.
It's foundational. You're not selfish for just wanting to have a nice, peaceful life. You're really not. And I think that's what comes down to ultimately about, like, remembering you can outgrow people and tell them that you don't want them involved in your life anymore. Yes, it looks selfish and it feels selfish, but it's not. Like, no, it is selfish, but at the end of the day, like, you need to be selfish. It's your life. It's not anyone else's life.
You're the only person that is in control of your life as well. No one else. So don't let anyone else's energy change the way you feel about yourself.
It's my biggest piece of advice for people is you need to be selfish in this life because you only get one of them, and you don't want to spend another year allowing other people's bad vibes and negative energy to bring you down when you've only got one life. You're not here to make other people's lives easier and better. You're here to make your own better. So we hope that you take everything we've just discussed into 2026 and remember that it's your energy and it's up to you to protect it.
So join us again next week for another episode of Becoming Her, talking about how to become the best version of yourself in 2026.
Yeah. So if you like this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the follow button, and join us next week.
Bye.